Good evening. Yeah. Welcome to day 3. May not have been in order, and that's okay. Who did I say I was here? Oh, who else is I? Be the lighthouse. I know. Claire. Is it Claire with an R or Claire with an I?
Stop your feet and clap your hands. If your heart's a chance, we got to come together. Serve your neighbors, serve your friends, serve each other till the end. Live for one another. I am mine and by myself. Be the lighthouse. Be the light.
Can't find it.
Be the lighthouse.
Okay. I'm going to start by asking, do you wake up every morning excited to start a new day? Or do you wake up and think, oh God, here we go, another day. See, the thing is, life is tough, but it's also a gift. And it's so full of unlimited possibilities and opportunities. But so often we limit ourselves. And I was listening to an audiobook today, and it said that by the time we're 17, we will have heard about, 150,000 no's compared to about 50,000 yeses. As in, no, don't do that. No, don't touch that. No, you can't do that. No, 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 no. So it's no wonder that so many of us feel limited, that we doubt ourselves because we're so used to being told, no, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. Now, I get that, like, you've got to teach children, but maybe we need to find a different way of teaching them rather than just saying, no, stop that. No, you can't do that. Maybe we need to find a way of explaining things to kids without saying the word no. Because the thing is that there are so many of us who are sleepwalking through life, who, as I say, just live life on repeat day in, day out. It's like Groundhog Day over and over again. And they're either really depressed or they just think that that's how it is, that's just all the best they're going to get, and might as well accept that. And it's not the truth. It's not true at all. Now, if you're watching this and you continue to watch it, it's because you have asked yourself the question, there must be more to life than this. You have asked yourself the question, what is the meaning of life? What is the point of life? And I picked up a couple of quotes today. One was, the meaning of life is to give life meaning. And we do that by finding our gift, finding our unique skills and talents, and then sharing it with others. And that gift can be absolutely anything, from speaking light language, from Reiki healing, from reading cards, from drawing, from singing, whatever it is. And another quote was, living the dream isn't about amassing wealth. It's about bringing what's alive in your heart into the world. And that's the thing, because so many of us are unfulfilled and unhappy, and we try and fill that void with things like food, with alcohol, with drugs, with sex, with clothes, with shopping, with things. We have so many things in our life, and we're constantly trying to fill a void. Hey, my lovely, how are you doing? We're constantly trying to fill a void that cannot be filled with things. And I believe that we all have unique gifts and talents. It's just so many of us either don't recognize them as gifts or talents, or we just are afraid to share them with the world. And I've spoken to so many people lately, and a lot of them are like told when they were younger that they shouldn't do XYZ, or they can't do XYZ, or they're just living in fear fear of rejection, fear of ridicule, fear of not being good enough. And one of the coaches that I follow said something a while ago, and it really struck a chord, which was that if we are all trying to uplift humanity, then there's no competition. There's no competition. There's no they're better than me, because if we're all trying to do our best to raise the vibrations of everyone in the world, on the world, within the world, then there is no competition. And here's the other thing. There could be other people with similar skills to you, but they're not you. They're not you. There are thousands and thousands of yoga teachers out there. People love me because of the way I am. And there are certain people that don't love the way I teach. And that's absolutely okay. That it took me a long time to realize that if people don't like the way I teach, there's nothing wrong with my teaching. It's just I'm not on their wavelength, they're not on mine. And that's okay. Because if we all like the same things, then there'd be no point to the rest of us. We don't need one of everything. But living life and not bringing to life your passion, your purpose, can lead to us feeling very unfulfilled. And we're also brainwashed into believing that life is hard, work is hard. We're supposed to work until we're 60, 70. By the time I get there, it'll be like 90 or something, and then retire, and then maybe enjoy life a bit. And that is just absolute bullshit. We can enjoy life now. We can enjoy life even with everything that's going on, when we discover our purpose and when we bring it to life, whether we use it as a job or whether we just do it because we fucking love doing it. It really doesn't matter. It's like when I first started teaching yoga, I've told this story before, I kind of got into it by accident. I was looking for a class and I couldn't find one, so I thought, I know, I'll start one. And had I thought about it too long, I would never have done it because I wouldn't have been confident enough. But I never really saw it as a long-term career thing. But I fucking love it. I'm still doing it 20 years later. And I struggled for so long with charging people because I enjoyed it so much. Because I too was brainwashed into believing that work should be hard and that you shouldn't enjoy your work. And that's another thing that we often struggle with. People who have gifts like Reiki or card reading and stuff like that. We think that, we should offer our gifts for free because they're God-given. Well, let me tell you this, right? Next time you want to phone up your electricity supplier and say, well, I'm sending you some Reiki to pay my bill. See how that works for you. Because we all have to pay the bills. We all have to earn a living. And if you've got a gift that helps other people, you are providing a service. I used to think that my teaching, my yoga teaching and stuff wasn't really essential. And then I started getting people coming to me saying, oh, do you know what? You've really helped me through cancer treatment. I wouldn't have survived without the classes. You've really helped me through a divorce. You've really helped me through this. You've really helped me through that. And it made me realize that actually what I was doing is providing a service. And so I also believe that our passion is put into our heart. It's divine. It's put into our heart for a reason. If you've got a dream, if you've got a vision, and there's no big or small, whatever it is, okay? There's no size difference. If you've got a dream, if there's something that you really care about and that you want to offer to others, it's there for a reason. And the only reason that we don't bring it about is fear. That's the only reason. The only reason we don't follow our purpose, follow our passion, is fear. And we're going to look into that on Friday, because it's no good finding a purpose and discovering what you want to do and then hitting those blocks of fear. And the other thing is, I just want to mention just now, is that with anything in life, there's layers and levels. You will peel off a layer. You will get rid of a limiting belief. You'll up-level your life a little bit. Those similar beliefs or other beliefs will come up later because we are human. Because as I said, we've had years and years of hearing no, 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 no. So that's something that you need to work on consistently. But first, we want to discover what your purpose is. What are you here on this planet, in this lifetime, to do? What is your dharma, your purpose in life? And there are several questions that you can ask yourself. So you can grab a pen and paper and you can write this just for yourself. I mean, you may think you know your purpose, and that is perfect. But if you don't, if you're not quite sure, or you have some ideas, but you're like, I'm not quite sure, then just grab a pen and paper, and I'm going to read out some questions to you. And the answers, don't think about it. Don't overthink it. Just write what comes to you. And it doesn't have to be an essay. This is just for you. The first question you want to ask yourself is, what is important to you? What is important to you? So for me, what's important to me is my fur babies, animals, animal welfare. That's important to me. It's important to me that my students feel good in and about themselves. You know, when people first come to my classes, I want to make them feel comfortable because I know how scary it is walking into a class for the first time. The environment, that's important to me. Looking after Mother Earth, things like that. So I go around picking up litter. So ask yourself, what is important to you? Knowing there's no right or wrong answers. It's not a case of, oh, well, whatever they say. What really matters to you? And this may or may not associate with your purpose, but there will be like a common thread that you can link it all together so that you can live a life where you do wake up in the morning and go, yes, what is today going to bring? Instead of just going through life, sleepwalking through life, feeling like shit. The second question, what are you passionate about? What are you really passionate about? What do you really love? What, like when something comes on the television or is in a magazine, what are you drawn to? So again, for me, that'd be like animals, yoga, those kind of things, anything kind of spiritual. I'm there, I'm looking. Yes, that's important to me. Things like clothes, gadgets, things like that, no real interest to me. So what are you passionate about? And remember, you may be passionate about singing, but you may sound like a strangled cat. Doesn't matter. Write it down, because it will all come together at the end. I love singing. I will sing. I cannot sing to save my life, but I will fucking sing because I feel good doing it. I am passionate about speaking light language, even though a lot of the time I have no idea what I'm saying, but it's not meant to be understood by the logical mind. So I am overcoming my fear of being judged and ridiculed by sharing it, because I know, because people have told me, that there are people out there ready to hear. And this is the thing. We tend to assume we know what other people will think. But there's like billions of people on this planet. How can we fucking assume what every one of them will think? Because I tell you now, for every one person who thinks you're talking shit, there'll be another one who really needs what you have to say. I promise you, because it's happened to me. I get it all the time. Whenever I start to doubt myself, someone will pop up and give me some amazing fucking feedback, and I'll remind myself to stop being a tit and assuming I know what people will think. Third question is, what would you or could you spend 24 hours doing? If you could spend 24 hours doing absolutely anything, someone said, right, there you go, you can do whatever you want for the next 24 hours. What would you do? And don't use your logical mind. Don't do what I'd love to do, like go on a cruise, but I can't because we're in lockdown. What would you spend 24 hours doing? I'd probably spend it. See, my big dream is opening up a rehab centre with an animal rescue centre, so I could combine my love of animals and mindset and yoga and stuff. So I'd probably love doing yoga in the middle of a room full of cats for 24 hours, because those are the things I'm passionate about. Then you could ask yourself, what if you could get paid for doing absolutely anything? If you could have your dream job, what would it be? You could even make one up if you like. It could be like chief cat stroker at the local rescue centre. Anything. If anything were possible, if you had the mind of a child, when we believe that absolutely anything is possible, when we still believe that Father Christmas could fit down the chimney, I want you to have that kind of attitude when you ask yourself these questions. If you could get paid for doing absolutely anything, and there are people who work in a factory putting lids on tins of paint and they're perfectly happy and content, and that's great. But there are also a lot of people doing jobs that they fucking hate, and life is a struggle, and they may have a bit of time at the end of the day or at the end of the week to have fun, and it really doesn't need to be that way. And as I said, the main reason we don't live a life of purpose and passion is fear. Fear of leaving the job that pays the bills, fear of trying something we've never done before, fear of failure, fear of ridicule. And as I said, we're going to be looking through those on Friday. Question 5. If you knew you could not fail, what would you do? If you knew without doubt, because this hit me the other day, I realized I wasn't showing up. I kind of came up with some excuse as to not do day one of this because I'd convinced myself that no one would watch, no one would be interested, blah, blah, blah. And then I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, how do I know? How am I assuming that no one will be interested? I'm so ready to believe that no one wants to hear what I have to say, despite zero evidence. Yet I could be able to switch it around, flip the script. If I can believe that with no evidence, then I can believe that there is one person out there who needs what I have to say. And that's all that matters, one person. As long as one person appreciates you, because I tell you, there will be thousands of versions of that one person all around the world, just waiting for you to show up. What do you spend time thinking about, learning about, watching, reading about? Again, it might not be associated with the first few questions. That doesn't matter. And say it all kind of links together. So what takes your interest? What do you just like reading about? You may like, say, in the singing, you may just like listening to other singers. You may just like listening to music. Write it down. Then ask yourself, if you could trade places with anyone in the world, even if just for a day, who would you trade places with? Whose life would you like to live, even if just for 24 hours? Because often we see in others, we're actually seeing a reflection of ourselves. It's like if we admire someone and we attribute certain characteristics and qualities to them, we actually have those characteristics and qualities in ourselves. We just haven't either acknowledged them or nurtured them. It's the same as when we resent someone, and that would be the next question. Who do you resent? Who really fucking gets up your ass? Who do you see and think, I fucking hate them? Because quite often there is something about them that you maybe secretly like. Now, I've told this story before, but I was reading a magazine one day and it was about this woman. I don't know who she is, but she was going to be the new blind date presenter. And she was going on about how I'm the only person who could do it, blah, blah, blah. And my first reaction was, she's fucking up herself, isn't she? But because I'm self-aware, I was like, ooh, where did that strong reaction come from, Donna? What's going on here? And I realized it was because I wanted to have her complete and utter belief in herself. I admired her complete and utter belief. So quite often when we don't like someone, it's either because they reflect a part of us that needs healing, a part of us that we don't like. So they may have a habit similar to one we have that we wish we didn't have, if that makes sense. Or there's something about them that we secretly would like to be. So we may criticize someone for walking down the street wearing a certain outfit when actually, if we're being honest with ourselves, we would like to have the confidence to wear that kind of outfit. So you ask yourself, who do you admire and who kind of like really gets you like, gets your hackles up? And then ask yourself, what has been one of your most memorable, enjoyable, happiest moments? And to start with, these answers may be a bit kind of like itty bitty, but you can start to draw them together. It's like kind of points on a map that don't seem to be going anywhere. But when you look at them at the end, you might find a common theme, or you might notice something that you've never really noticed before. Because when we're all in our head, we can't always see clearly. And when we're so busy telling ourselves we can't do this, we're not good enough, blah, 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 it's like having dirty windows. You know, it's like looking out and believing it's grey and dull every day, when actually it's just that our windows are dirty. And once you clear the window, you realise that actually it's been sunny all this time. But because we've been blinded by fear and by negative self-talk, we can't see clearly. So what has been one of your most enjoyable experiences? And what brings you joy? What gets you excited? Or what could get you excited? If you could do anything, what really gets you that kind of like, oh, I could easily jump out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning to do X, Y, Z. Again, lose the logic, well, that's not likely to happen and blah, blah, blah. What could you get excited about? What could make you leap out of bed and feel full of enthusiasm? And then ask yourself, if you won £1 million on the lottery, what would you do? How would you spend it? What would you do with it? Because I'd buy my 10 acres of land, build my dream house, and then I'd probably put the rest towards building my rehab centre and my animal rescue centre. You see a kind of common theme here with my purpose. So that's why there can be recurring things that you can kind of pull it all together, because quite often we have a gift or we have a passion, we just don't know what to do with it. Then ask yourself, if you had, and I've used this question on a dating site, okay, this is my way of finding out very, very quickly whether guys are on my wavelength or not. And if they're not, they're gone, and that's fine, because then they can go and find someone who is on their wavelength. I ask people, if you only had 48 hours left to live, how would you spend them? And just a side note, guys who say, oh, sex, oh, that's so boring. 48 hours, really? Whereas mine is like, well, I'd probably do a parachute jump, I might try wing walking, I'd like to do a hot air balloon ride, I'd go and see my fur babies, I'll probably do some yoga, and then might have sex if I can find someone, but like just a short period of time, and then try and catch a beautiful sunset. If everything were possible, what would you do? Because I bet you wouldn't be stacking shelves in Sainsbury's. I bet you wouldn't be hoovering your house if you only had 48 hours left to live. Really, what would you do? How would you spend them? Because I'd be curious. And I've had one guy on this dating app was like, oh, it sounds like a job interview. And I thought, that's fine, because I know straight away you're not on my wavelength. Because people who like that question, rather than the standard, hi, how are you today? I'm good, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? Well, yeah, I haven't got time for that. And then you can look at your list, look at everything you've written down, and ask yourself, is there a common theme? Is there something that crops up more than once? Like with me, you can probably tell it's yoga and animals and healing and spiritual things. But I was about to say I'm lucky in that I'm living my purpose, but luck has nothing to do with it, actually. Luck has absolutely nothing to do with it. When I first started teaching yoga, it was like one class a week. I set out to make it my career, and I did it. I fucking did it. And had I stopped to think too much before I started my first class, I never would have done it. I would have taught myself out of it. Because the very first yoga class I taught, I was shaking so much, I'm surprised I could get a fucking word out. I literally was like that. And I would never have the confidence to do it. Hey, lovely, how are you, my love? So had I stopped to think about it, I wouldn't have done it, and I wouldn't be where I am now. And here's the other thing, right? When I started teaching yoga, I had never set foot in another yoga class, ever. I learned it all from videos, and I was out teaching other yoga students. I've done training since, I have to add. I've done training since, and I've qualified since. But I had never even had a minute's training. I'd never even attended anyone else's class before I started my own yoga class. How crazy is that? But had I stopped to think, shall I do it? Should I do it? I would have taught myself out of it. And that is exactly what we do. We have an idea, we get excited about something, and then we have the, oh, but what if this happens? What if? And I want you to have a so what if attitude. So what if? So what if someone doesn't like you? Because someone else will. So what if it fucking goes wrong? Because you just learn from it and move on. So what if people think you're talking shit? Because there'll be other people who think you're talking exactly what they need to hear. Because we've gone past the days of like everyone being, I'm Donna Hammersley and I'm a confidence coach and I'm here to do da 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 da, and I'm just like a robot, and or those that are like, I said a post earlier, posing in their jacuzzi with their champagne and stuff like that. People are attracted to your vibe. Now, some people will jump on this live and go, what the fuck is she talking about? And will jump straight off. And that's okay, because they're not my people. Those who stay to the end, they're my people. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with people who aren't my people, because I'm not their people either. Because as I said, if we all were the same, got Felix today, if we were all the same, life would be fucking boring. And I spent too much of my life trying to be what I thought other people wanted me to be, and you just feel like a failure. If you try and fit in, you finally realize there is actually nothing to fit into. You've been trying to fit into an invisible box. It's like the Emperor's New Clothes. You've been trying to fit into this fucking box that doesn't exist. And when you realize it doesn't exist, you're like, fucking A. Oh dear. So then ask yourself, of all the things that you're passionate about, how often do you actually do them? The cat, yes, I know. Normally it's Lulu. I tell you, I should get a show for my cats. Normally it's Lulu up here. But of all the things you like doing, how often do you do them? Now, I know it's been a bit strange over the past 10 months. I can't believe it's like 10, 11 months now. But so many people don't schedule play, pleasure, fun. We prioritize the wrong things. We prioritize the housework. We prioritize ironing. You know, if I'm listening to a woman and she's telling me how much work she has and she's got no time for herself, I might start to sympathize. But when she starts telling me that she irons underpants and handkerchiefs, my sympathy is gone, is absolutely gone, because I learned a few years ago now that moments, enjoying time with my fur babies, is far more important. There was one day when I actually used to do housework properly. I'd spent 3 hours on a sunny day cleaning my house and it looked great, but I'd run out of time to spend it with my fur babies. And afterwards I thought, this house is going to end up looking like this now in a few days' time. But I've missed that time. I won't get that time back with my fur babies. And if I was to die tomorrow, I would not be glad I'd spent that time doing housework. We really prioritise. You have a piano downstairs. Yeah, go and play on it. Go and plonk away on it. That's the thing. I got a little hand drum. It's like a little steel drum. I'd never seen them before. Little tiny steel drum with like about 8 notes on it. And I've been having a go at that. But we stop playing, don't we? And I think especially women in business, we stop playing because we think we have to have this kind of persona of like, I'm really serious. And anyone who's come to my yoga classes know that I take the piss. I take the piss out of myself, and I'm okay with that because I want people to have fun. And we miss out. And I realized a little while ago that I was not being playful enough. I was getting too serious. I was trying, I was forgetting the kind of the playful thing. And no matter how old we are, there is still that inner child within us that needs to come out to play, whether it's doing a bit of colouring in, whether it's like having a food fight, whatever it is. We just don't schedule in play. We have it as if like it's a case of, well, when I get time. No. We need to work on our happiness, and part of that is scheduling in time to have fun, in whatever form that may be. I've got into TikTok recently. I said I wouldn't do it, wouldn't get into TikTok. Oh my God, if you're not on TikTok, it is addictive. You should try it. It's really funny. But also how can you find ways to either do the things that you're passionate about or share your passions. Card readings for me. For ages, I wouldn't give card readings because I was so worried about what if I got it wrong. And the thing is, I turned it into a so what attitude. So what if I get it wrong? Because for every one person that I give a reading and they say it doesn't make sense, there's another 5 that are like falling off their chair because it's like, how the fuck can you know that? And when I get channeled messages, sometimes as I'm writing it down, it's like, what the fuck? What? But I trust. And it's like, I was writing one the other day and it's like, I put something about find a penny, pick it up, and all day you'll have good luck. And something about night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. And it turned out that she had found a penny that day and said that exact thing. And her daughter, who had actually asked her to say night, sleep tight, recently. How the fuck would I know that? But only because I've learned to trust, for one, and not give a toss if I'm wrong. And when we start, I don't know how to use TikTok. I know, I'm just learning. I'm just learning, but go on just to watch it because some of them are absolutely amazing. So I'm learning. One of my social coach just told me, press all the buttons. Press all the buttons and see what works. That's it. Press all the buttons. But yeah, I'm learning as I've got older to have more of a so what if attitude. So what if you make a mistake? That means you're actually trying. That means you're actually moving in the right direction. So what if you struggle? That means again that you're trying, because if you're not struggling, it means you're not trying. If you're not making a mistake, what's the saying? He who doesn't make a mistake is making nothing. And that's the thing. Once we get rid of our fear, which we'll be doing on Friday, we can start to do the things that we're passionate about. We can start to, especially when it comes to spiritual gifts like mediumship, like, you know, card reading, like seeing auras and things like that. When I was in my early 20s, or up to my early 20s, I thought all that kind of thing was bullshit. I didn't believe in energy. I didn't believe in crystals. I didn't believe in any of that. None of it at all. And if you'd have told me about having a pendulum, I'd have thought it's complete and utter bullshit. I've actually now got a pendulum. I've got about 5 of them over there. I've got crystals upstairs. I speak light language. And so many people have gifts like that, kind of woo-woo gifts, that they're afraid to share with others because they probably had most of their life people saying, which is bullshit, which is what I used to say. It's complete bullshit. They're just stealing your money, and it's all nonsense. Until I started doing it. I went and did an animal communication course, and I could tell the owner where this cat sat, and I told her something about her favorite toy had been put, the cat was looking for her favorite toy, and it turns out that the owner had taken the pet mouse because the dog had chewed it. How the fuck would I know that? How would I know that? Because I started to learn and trust my intuition, my gifts, and I started to grow them. And that's what we're here for. That idea in your mind, that passion in your heart was put there for a reason. And now it is time to come out. Hey, lovely, how are you doing? It is time to come out. So I've got a few tips for you after you've written down your list. The first one is to celebrate and support others, because one thing I've learned is that the quickest way to reach your goal, to achieve what you want to achieve, is to celebrate other people who are doing it. Now, I used to be the kind of person who would feel not kind of resentful. I think it's more, what's the word? Fearful. If I saw another yoga teacher or something, for example, I would feel fearful because I had a scarcity mindset. I had the mindset of there's not enough for everyone. Once I started to realize that there is more than enough for everyone, and that by resenting others, that which you resent in others, you repel for yourself, I was able to start celebrating and supporting other people. And that is one of the quickest ways to get what you want, is to celebrate other people. One of the reasons money is a perfect example. One of the reasons people don't have the money is because they resent people with money. And so they are repelling it. You know, if you are the kind of person, you listen to people who are always broke, and they will always start slagging off people who are rich and this, that, and the other. And so they are repelling it. So if you've got something that you want in your life, a dream, a vision, a purpose, celebrate the fuck out of other people who are doing it and learn from them, because we receive support from the universe, from God, whatever you want to call it, when we know where we want to go. Otherwise, we're like driving around with no destination in mind. And that is why, for most of us, our life doesn't go anywhere, because we don't know where the fuck we're going. We don't know where we want to go, or we kind of do know where we want to go, but we don't think we can get there. The most successful, happiest, and often wealthiest people in life, they know what they want, they know where they're going, and they believe they can do it, and they believe they're worth being paid for it. That any successful person, those 4 things: they know what they want, they know where they're going, they believe they can do it, and they believe that they deserve to get paid for it, because they don't believe the old bullshit that like work should be hard and you should work for a wage and all that kind of shit. The other thing is, give something to everyone you come into contact with, whether it's just a smile. Especially when I'm driving, And if someone kind of pisses me off, I have that moment of fucking idiot. And then I say, peace be with you. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Because I don't know what that person's going through. I don't know if that person's rushing to see a dying relative in hospital. We don't know what other people are going through. And if we get angry at people, it lowers our vibration. So now I say, peace be with you. Or I'll say, may you be happy, may you be loved, may you be at peace. Because sending out good vibrations means you get it back. It's like the law of return, or the boomerang law. What you give out, you get back. And we can't just like say a few affirmations and like say grace over dinner and then be moaning and complaining the rest of the time. It doesn't work like that. We need to have an attitude of sending out good vibes always, even if it's to people who do piss us off. Because we've probably pissed people off. We forget about that. We piss people off and we don't realize we're doing it. So give something to everyone you come into contact with, even if it's just a case of, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be loved, anything like that. Also, once you've set your positive intention, detach from the outcome. This is one of the the law of attraction and manifestation. There's lots of bits that are missing. And one of the things that I really found that kind of like exploded my manifestation abilities is detachment. We tend to think of like, if I focus on what I want, and I say affirmations every day, and I'm like, oh, it's gotta happen, gotta happen. It's a case of like knowing what you want, setting your intention, and then leaving it, trusting that it will come in its own time. Detachment, letting it go, will bring it to you quicker. It's like the seed. You plant a seed, you don't go back every day going, are you growing it? Are you growing it? Why are you not growing it? It's not working. It's not working. That's it. I give up. I'm going to stop saying my affirmations because it's just not working. But that's us humans. We want everything yesterday, or we think it's failed. So set your intention, then detach from the outcome. But also every day, nurture your spirit. Nurture your spirit, whether that's going out for a walk in nature, whether that's sticking your head out the window and taking some good, deep, fresh air into your lungs, whether that's meditating, whether that's doing yoga. Nurture your spirit. Make time for play. Nurture your spirit. And find ways to bring your purpose into life. It may not be that you'll make a career out of it, and that's okay. You know, some people love teaching yoga and it's just like a hobby, and that's absolutely fine. But we want something that gets you out of bed in the morning with a smile on your face, with a, yes, what is today going to bring, rather than a, another day. And we are all capable, and we are all worthy of having that life. And I believe that we all kind of know what our gifts are. It's just we're afraid to let them out. We're afraid to let them out. We're afraid to show them to other people because of fear of judgment and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, that gift, that idea, that passion, that was put in your heart for a reason. It was put in your heart for a reason, and it's now time for you to let it out. So on Friday, I was going to do it the other way around, but tomorrow is the new moon. So tomorrow we're going to do intention setting, to use the new moon energy to set seeds for whatever it is we want in life. So you may decide you want to bring your purpose to life. So it's perfect timing. So we're going to do that tomorrow. I don't really know what time, probably around about this time. So if you'd like to join me tomorrow, then please do. Oh, I know. It's because I'm an idiot and I haven't got the volume on. For one another. Enjoy the rest of your evening, beautiful souls. If this has been of use to you, or you know anyone else who could get benefit, then please just share it, tag your friends, and join us tomorrow. Ask yourself, what is it you want? What do you want to bring into your life in the next few weeks? If you could have, do, be, have absolutely anything, what would it be? And join us tomorrow for the new moon. Be the light.
Stomp your feet and clap your hands, lift your hearts a chant. We got
To go together.
serve your neighbors,
Serve your friends.
serve each other till the end.
Live for one another.
Stomp your feet and clap your hands, lift your hearts a chant. We got
To go together. Serve your neighbors, serve your friends. To the end, live for one another. See you soon, beautiful soul. Thank you. Waheguru. Waheguru means ecstatic connection with the infinite, with the divine. So Waheguru is basically saying, I fucking love life. Different words. Beautiful souls. See you soon.